That's the only that's the only setup that was there. The only one. Yeah, the only one. I spent
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new
Live from the virtual Daytona International Speedway, we bring you this season kickoff here in the Cruising Classics Next Gen Cup Series. I'm Tyler Detmer. Joined in the booth as me is my producer and fellow announcer. That's Dean Biggles. Dean, brand new season. Everyone's excited. You get those jitters, and you come to the World Center of Motorsports Daytona International Speedway. It really just sends chills up the driver's spine, but also the fans as well.
Yeah, the slate has been wiped clean. The whiteboard's clean. Everything is ready to go. So you want to come out, you want to set a statement. Of course, Daytona is always one of those tracks. The Daytona International Speedway, one of the best that you're going to find anywhere in the motorsports world. So come out of the gate there and get yourself a good result is a good way to start the season. We'll go down at the moment because it's just about to finish off their qualifying session as well, too.
Yeah, drivers are finishing up their lone qualifying session, but like Dean said, the slate has been wiped clean, but still looking back at last season, I'd be remiss to not comment on the fact that Brandon Evans, your champion, won 8 races last season, including sweeping every playoff race en route to winning his title last year. So he's going to look to defend that title in that 39 machine. The driver to keep an eye out tonight at Daytona as we got just a few seconds left. Like we said, though, first time the NASRA 360 Racing Network will be giving you the full season coverage of the Cruising Classics Next Gen Cup Series for the Goat Locker Racing family. And we're going to start looking at our starting lineup for 60 laps here at 2.5 miles at Daytona. On the pole from Virginia, that'll be Brian Provo. To his outside will be Jamie Barkus. Row number 2 will have Cody McIlwain and Bryson Myers. Row 3, Robert Barber and Darrell Young Jr. Back in row 4, starting 7th and 8th, that's George Jewell, and Patrick Travick. Rounding out your top 10, Steve Tucker and your past season champion, Brandon Evans. Looking further on the field, you got Tanner Bethia and Doug Elliotson rounding out your top 12 as you look further down the grid. John Anthony, Kyle Westby, Bobby Germain, Jake Ellingson, Scott Formosa, Chance Taylor, Alan Marshall, Mark McCrary, and Chris Sawyer rounding out the field. 21 drivers here gridding tonight in this season opener. I do know that a few drivers were unable to make the event tonight looking at discussions, but I do know that these 21 drivers are extremely hungry to take home the Cruising Classics Next Gen Cup Series, but it all starts here with a big night at Daytona. Playoff system here for those of you new watching on the NASCAR 360 Racing Networks. Maybe it's your first time watching the Goat Locker Racing Series. They run a round of 12 playoff system. We'll give you a quick look at the schedule. Dean, producer, can throw up on the screen just to see what you will have to look forward to over these next 12 to 15 weeks in the Cruising Classics Next Gen Cup Series.
Yeah, to get that for you immediately at the moment is waiting for those drivers to load on the grid, which is the reason why I can't show you all those drivers on the grid. But there is your schedule that you are mentioning at the moment.
Yeah, moving from Daytona. Now, yeah, Daytona, we go all the way out to the West Coast, Las Vegas, and then come all the way back to the East Coast to one of my favorite tracks, the track Too Tough to Tame, the Lady in Black. Looking throughout the rest of the schedule, though, you look at those playoff tracks, Indianapolis, Iowa, two very, very different circuits, and then you go to the round of 8, Homestead, Miami, and Richmond, another intermediate followed by another short track. Championship race will be taking place in May at Phoenix, but a driver can make the first step in getting into that position by winning here tonight at Daytona as the drivers are rolling off the grid. 60 laps, fuel should be about a one-stopper, maybe a two-stopper if things get really hairy, if we have a lot of green, white checkers down the stretch, but should only be a one-stopper. Let's see the drivers get organized 2 by 2. I want to take a moment to talk to you all about Cruising Classics, the presenting sponsor for the Next Gen Cup Series. Cruising Classics has been buying and selling cars for a long time. Originally, most were your daily drivers, but their passion has always been those classic muscle cars and hot rods. In 1996, they bought a 56,000 square foot facility in Columbus, Ohio, and they are still operating out of that facility today. In fact, I was actually just on the Cruising Classics website, Dean, a couple nights ago, just looking, seeing what there was on the market. And I gotta say, they have a 1961 Jaguar XKE, a beauty, an absolute beauty. As well as, if you like more Japanese cars, a 1991 Acura NSX.
Oh, nice.
Or if you love your classic muscle cars, 1973 Dodge Challenger or 1974 Corvette Stingray. All absolutely beautiful, ready to go home with anyone looking for a brand new classic.
I should have loaned them my 1993 GTR Skyline, the Godzilla. They would have liked that one too if you wanted an imported car there as well, but obviously the steering would be on the other side. Twin turbo, four-wheel steering, four-wheel drive. That puppy, when I took it up around mountains in Australia, mate, she just glued like she's on rails. It's absolutely amazing, you know. And held the record actually around Bathurst for so many years too, when they used to race them back in the 90s. So here it is. Welcome everybody in the chat. Wesley out there. Shensta, is it Shensta Jewel? And Ray, of course, supporting the father and son duo as well too.
Well, we're about to go green here, the kickoff of the season, the Cruising Classics Next Gen Cup Series, race number 1, Daytona, underway. Meanwhile, drivers staying very organized, not a lot of pushing and shoving already, no lock bumpers. Pro is going to get out to a comfortable lead. He'll be clear of that outside line. That's Barkas. To his inside, you got Nick Ilwin. Those two drivers will be side by side. Not a lot of momentum in either of these lanes early on as they go through 1 and 2. Very organized, 2 by 2 by 2. Call it about 6 rows deep.
Yeah, you've got to get those nerves out of your system, of course, being the first race of the season, realizing you got 60 laps to get it done with, so no point in bullying away and causing any potential mischief this early. Get a feel for the car, get a feel for the track and its temperatures, and get a feel for the side draft that's occurring. You might see a bit of a challenge currently, but it's still 2 by 2 all the way back. 21 cars still remaining. 1 of 160, about to be 2 of 60.
Yeah, it's just really, you see that bottom line getting a little stacked up in the trial. It looks like the 6 wants to push. The 08 Provo is saying, no, not me. That outside lane had all the momentum. Give yourself a new leader up front. Meanwhile, looking back through the rest of the field, we still relatively calm, paced out. Not a lot of drivers wanting to move around at this point in time. Just kind of trying to find their place in line. Outside lane's going to have the momentum here. 3 cars now clear that bottom lane. Do they jump to the bottom? No, they're just going to ride. You know, we're still in that early stage, like you said, Dean. 60 laps, brand new season. You want to feel out the field, feel out the other drivers you're working around.
And it looks like Patrick's trying to give Brian, remember, who was on pole, who's now back in a P4 because of the fact that they've got nobody to help him along. Now he's going to tuck in behind the top 3. That's going to let the 71 go on the outside and risk it for the biscuit right up on the high line. Will he get a tow from anybody? If that's at the 07, can catch up to him and will right now. Give him a nice little push. And so there you go. Just like that, you can swap those positions off. Maybe save yourself a bit of gasoline. See if you work together. You have to work together. We all know that. And these ovals and series, but then of course you become your mortal enemies when it comes to about 10 laps to go because you want to be able to win the race.
Yeah, Barkas led Myers and Young all the way down to the bottom lane, cleared, and then Young said, no, actually, I want to try and take the lead. Myers stayed low. Barkas came up to block that 71 there last time by. It looks like the 91 was back in the wall all the way back there. That's Kyle Westby in that green and yellow machine. Just a little bit of light contact, but now Myers the one leading the race because he just kind of stayed put. He didn't make additional moves. When he followed Barkas down to the bottom lane, he said, all right, I'm here to stay. The driver behind him, that 71 of Young, he jumped to the outside. Barkas went to cover. And really, Myers ends up in the catbird seat from it all. So sometimes doing the least is often beneficial. Provo, obviously your pole sitter, he's going to give all the shots to the back of that lead car here. Looking back on the rest of the field from the lead machine of Myers. The drivers are very, very patient at this point in time. Bryson Myers, that 11 white machine. Just running very clean at the moment, controlling the field. But you see Jamie Barkas getting a run back there with Young pushing him on the outside.
Yep, exactly. That's what they're doing. They're going 2 abreast here. Taking it very easy. Of course, it's early days. The tyres are good still. Got certainly enough gasoline to get it done. And their nerves are starting to wouldn't be as nervous now. You start, because you've already done that race. You've already got a couple of laps under your belt. Now it's time to sit back and start getting a feel for the car, start to get a feel for where you're going to be able to start to position. And of course, around you can kind of get an indication of, all right, who am I a bit quicker than the others, and start to test the waters out. New season, of course. So, and they do race each other in other series here at NASRA and other series around the world. But of course, these cars are a little bit different beast to handle. And so just get used to it. Maybe in the chat still is a little bit. Wesley's out there, let's go 0-0, and as well as Bradley for the Harpoon design there. Let's go. Yep. Looking forward to it. All the gentlemen have behaved themselves so far, 6 of 60.
Yeah, on lap 6 of 65 complete, Darrell Young Jr. has now moved in the lead on that outside. He's taken back the lead after pushing Jamie Barkas clear. He's just said, I'm going to stay where I am. Barkas went down to cover the bottom lane with Bryson Myers, but now look like Darrell Young is going to be hung out to dry by Patrick Drabick.
There it is, you're absolutely correct on that. Till the 58 getting close up to the fence in the background there as well. That was Doug. So he's in the mix there with Cody. And Jonathan, a few of the other drivers and gladiators out there risking it for the biscuit here at Daytona. Darrell leading, Brendan D. Evans up. There you go, the 39 machine. Give him a bit of a push to the 71. He's up 8 now. Steve Tucker right in behind there for the 24.
Brandon Evans, your last season champion, rolling there in second pretty comfortably right now. Steve Tucker behind him in the 3rd position. Tanner Bethea up 7 positions. He's in 4th. Doug Elson, big trouble in the back of the field. The 91's involved. Looks like the 16 was involved. No, 15. That's Jamie Barkas around. First caution of the night happens on, I believe, lap 7. And really just kind of started in the back of the, well, not even the back of the field. We saw Jamie Barkas up in front leading for a little bit, started dropping back when the inside line lost a lot of momentum. We saw a lot of issues further. Yeah, it's already happened at this point.
Who was it before?
Yeah, he's already sideways at that point. It's hard to tell. We'll have to go back a little bit more. Oh, wow, he gets a bad shove from Bryson Myers. Yep. So if we want to ride on board, let's ride on board with the 11 machine. That'll be the best onboard camera we can get.
There we go, my
It'll
friend.
put you right in the action.
So
you're going to see he's going to come off of 2 here, and he's going to just get to the bumper of the 15 in a way that jacks the 15 up. And really, the 11's going to get out of this scot-free, but unfortunately, Jamie Barkas is going to go around here once that contact's made to the rear bumper, the next gen car, Dean, the bumpers don't line up as well as they do in the trucks, especially. You see that shot? He's going to go down to the left. He's going to get unsettled. He's going to get a push, and he's going to
Yep.
push back into him. And yeah, that's all she wrote. It looks like Bryson may have had some help from behind too. Yeah, that inside lane stacked up really bad off of 2. And kind of an accordion effect, and that's going to involve some big names. Jamie Barkus, one of those. Kyle Westby in that green and yellow machine. He went around pretty hard in front of the rest of the field. That's our first caution of the night. And that's going to give us a chance to talk about another quick sponsor here for Goat Locker Racing, and that is the Veterans for Life Foundation, founded in 2010. The primary vision of Veterans for Life is to revitalize communities by supporting military veterans and their families' successful transition back into civilian life by providing affordable housing through support services, education, and counseling. They also sponsor several veteran drivers in Goat Locker Racing, including Jamie Perkins, who's an auxiliary board member of Veterans for Life Foundation, founded by a Marine Corps combat veteran. They do a lot of great work throughout the United States, supporting veterans and their families as they return home from wherever they have served. So we give a huge shout out to the Veterans for Life Foundation, especially for Goat Locker Racing, a very veteran-focused racing group. And for me, being able to call this race as an active duty Navy service member is really special in regards to being able to be a part of this series as well now. So I just want to give another great shout out to Veterans for Life Foundation, big sponsor and supporter of Goat Locker Racing.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And even being an Australian, of course, not from the United States of America, but Australia being a very, very close ally, we're always, heavily behind the United States military service men and women. We obviously do regular, what do you call it, training exercises and stuff like that, activities as well, too, with the US military. So even as an Australian, I'm very proud of that foundation that you do, that everybody's contributing to. So good on you.
And we see Jamie Barkus has now made his way off of pit road. We should be getting the, looks like probably 1 to go this time by. So we might have a time to take a quick short break, and then we'll be back here for green flag action on lap 11 of 60 when we go green. And we're back here live from the virtual Daytona International Speedway, lap 10 of 60. We have the 1 to go. We'll be going back racing next time by. Your leaders still Daryl Young Jr., Steve Tucker, Tanner Bethea, Doug Ellingson, Bryson Myers rounding out your top 5. Jamie Barkus, who was involved in that incident on lap number 8. He's back in the 14th position. A couple other drivers have fallen back, including Cody McIlwain. He was also slightly involved in that incident, as well as Kyle Westby. They run 14th, 15th, and 16th. Real quick to look at your biggest mover right now, that's Alan Marshall sitting in the 6th position at 82 machine. And second biggest mover right behind him in the 7th position, that's Chance Taylor in the 14 car. So 2 drivers who have made their way through the field, but it's still really early. We're not even halfway through this event yet, Dean.
Yeah, and on top of this one, Brandon Evans is the first one that's gone in and out of pit road. Behind him, he's got everybody else. So remember, those top 8 drivers elected not to go down pit road. No, sorry, I keep saying pit road. In pit lane. Sorry, same thing. But because I'm always saying box when they go to pits. But so there you have it. We'll see how that pans out tire-wise as the pace car is going to peel itself down in there. We're going to have our second restart of the season. Evening, of course, as they pass the go-go restart zone.
Yeah, working on lap 11 of 60. That's 10 laps complete. Barney, the flag man, waves the green. Drivers very spaced out this time. Not as organized as it was on the initial start. Dare Young, Steve Tucker, Doug Ellingson, 1, 2, 3 single file. Make it the top 4 single file. First challengers for 5th on the bottom. That looks to be Brandon Evans. He's going to challenge for 4th, though, off the corner. Can he get there? Looks like he won't have the momentum at this point in time. So very fractured pack right now. Not a lot of 2x2. You kind of have 6 cars on the outside lane. Got 6 cars on the bottom. Got a couple cars sprinkled in the back, Dean. It's a very messy pack at this point in time. Not very well organized, and that's going to really bring everyone into play.
And look at Brandon at the moment. You're going to have to say he's getting a huge push up on the inside. Keep it on that 39 machine. That's the red one. He's getting a push. He's going to be a lot more confident with his tyres, remember, because he came in and out of pit road. Nobody else is up there. He is in currently, at the moment, P7. You've got Cody that's just behind him currently at the moment, giving him a little bit of a push. Chance Taylor, actually. Remember Chance Taylor, 14 behind him. He's also made that pit stop earlier. Everybody else on the high line hasn't. Brandon, he got that little push there. It looked like he was almost going to get close enough to be alongside Doug, and then now is sticking out in the inside line there is the 13. I'm a little blind to see
that's 13. 13, but the 11 in our program.
It's 11.
That's actually Bryson Myers.
Yeah. It's Bryson.
So a bit of a scheme issue there on the Bryson Myers machine, but really the rest of the field here, as we saw, looked like a mass exodus from the outside lane to the bottom. I was originally going to say the outside lane had the numbers, Dean. Now it looks like the inside lane has the numbers, but the outside lane's still holding strong. But I think if that inside lane continues to build up, get organized, they're going to start making a run. And as long as the outside lane is running that top line, I would even say if I'm that one machine leading Tanner Bethea, maybe run a little bit higher so you're not having as much of a checkup off the exit of these corners like we saw that led to that first wreck.
You called it, my friend. You got a lot more experience in next-gen racing than I am. 58, sorry. Dangling the fence a little bit, my friend. Up against the barrier. Stretching his legs out a little bit. A little twirly-whirly, of course, as coming off the turn, but they're still hanging in there. This is when, once again, I'm just wondering when the likes of these drivers that boxed on that lap 8 with the fresher boots and a little bit more gasoline are going to be able to do it. A little bit of pushing and come there. This is a 58 against the fence again. He's in the wall. He's really struggling a little bit, isn't it, for grip? And that's Doug out there. G'day, Ray. Of course, and the family members there of Doug. Doug's just, it's just trying to handle that beast at the moment there.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem comfortable riding behind the 24 Tucker. Yeah, and that handling on that 58 machine is not very comfortable at the moment. Tanner Bethea leading the inside line. Side drafted a lot, but he on the front straightaway. Kind of got away from him once he saw how loose he's been. Now Bethea is blinking a little bit in and out. Hopefully he stabilizes here. But Brandon Evans took the opportunity. He's moved to third. Oh, that's Ellison in the wall again. They're going to be 3 wide the tri-oval. They thought better of it. I think that's Alan Marshall. He thought about making it 3 wide, but now Tanner Bethea loses a lot of momentum for I'm not really sure why there. That's going to allow that 82 to kind of make a move here. It looks like they're going to leave the 1 out by himself. They're going to try and get around him, and I think you're going to see the 82 try and get by the 58 here as quickly as he can. He's going to look to the inside.
He's got to be, you'd have to at the moment, because you know Dougie's going up against the fence. Dougie is struggling, but I tell you what, Dougie's doing a fantastic job holding on to it, actually. If he can actually, I don't think he should be, he needs to be tucked in behind at the moment. Seems when he gets that dirty end, he gets sucked right out there to the fence. That's where he's starting to get a little loosey-goosey and twirly-whirly. So, I mean, you know, got to keep it under control. You're doing a fantastic job there. See, once again, gets up to that fence and struggles a little bit. The other car's going to tuck up on the inside. I think Doug at the moment is just wanting to see this one through for sure. He's definitely struggling, but he's fighting. He's putting a good job on. I want to see you keep it out of the fence, my friend, and keep it going at the moment.
Yeah, he just looks like he gets really uncomfortable with big runs. He had a huge run up there on Brandon Evans, the 39, and then just decided to maybe use the brake instead of just lifting and rolling up to the 39. And when he uses the brake, it really binds that car up and really shot him to the outside, I think. I can't tell if he's actually using the brake or not, but it just looked like the way he decelled so much it was. He's going to fall down to the bottom, and he's going to probably get left there. Oh, that was a close moment there between him and Alan Marshall. Now you got Kyle Westby, who's involved in that earlier incident. He's going to try and make a move as the field has gotten single file and spread out.
Here
But now
comes
Brandon
Brandon.
Evans is going to challenge for the second position.
He's got
as soon as they
confidence.
get single file.
Yeah, he's got confidence in these boots, remember. This is where it will probably come in a little bit of play. Look how steady. That thing looks like it's on rails. It's not even moving too much. Everybody else is wiggling around all over the place. Brandon, remember, is breaking the air on the inside line here. Getting a bit of a push from the 13, which is the 11 machine that we have in our telemetry, of course, there of Bryson. And then this is where it'll start to come and play. You can see the other Taylor. I think that's Taylor, isn't it? That's stepping in behind there, trying to get that lovely toe. But this is where Brandon Evans, as you said, defending champion, is time to shine. This thing is glued on rails. I mean, just look at it. He's barely moving at all. And that just goes to show you when you're doing a good job driving. Look, when you barely have to move that steering wheel too much of an angle, look at it, smooth as a baby's buttocks.
Yeah, the outside lane, the front two of Young and Tucker just seem to work well together. They don't move around a lot. They don't have to chase each other. They're able to push well. Everyone else just seems really uncomfortable, other than Evans, who feels like he can put his car wherever he wants. Everyone else, when they're following someone else, the car is super snappy. Obviously, you know, with this new steering column in the next-gen car, the car is much twitchier, and drivers have commented about this in real life and in iRacing. It's still very true. A lot harder to save the car. We've seen some great saves. Tanner Bethea a lap ago had a massive moment on the back straightaway. That's that blue and black machine, that number 1. So we're going to see out of 14 a Chance Taylor. He's going to jump down in front of the previous champion, Brandon Evans. He's going to try and go to the lead. And I think if you don't want someone pushing you, it's probably last season's champion.
Yeah, exactly. At the moment, Doug is still hanging in the background. Good on you, Doug. He may have tamed that beast, got under a bit of control. It was mentioned out there about a bit of blinking at the moment. Ray pointed out of that and chat there, Ray. G'day, welcome everybody. But make sure you do let us know. Give us your feedback out there in the chat. We do like to listen to the audience's feedback, because they know sometimes they're surrounded around drivers and boyfriends and girlfriends and brothers and sisters and all that sort of jazz. There's a little bit of twirly-whirly coming. We have 2 packs that are formed currently at the moment. The track map doesn't really give it too much grace, but you can see at the moment. There's the first pack. And then you got a second pack all the way back behind Patrick here. So he's leading that second squad.
Yeah, and what's hurting that second pack is it's 5 drivers, but they're running 3 on the inside and 2 on the outside. They need to get all 5 drivers in a single file line if they want to catch this lead pack, because that lead pack's putting a huge hole of air for that following pack to do, but they have to be single file. They can't be accordion style drafting the entire way. They have to just find that balance, be maybe, you know, an eighth of a car length off of each other, but throughout the entire pack, and build up that momentum instead of slinking, as I like to call it, which is a big thing you see a lot with drafting tracks. You see, you know, a guy give a big shove, they get out way too far, and then when they catch back up, it kind of jams the whole field together, which we see a little bit here, and which is what caused that first caution back on lap number 8, as you see another Tanner Bethea blinking a little bit.
That's when you need some jam printing and promotions, isn't it? We're talking about jamming. There you go. Shout out for that one. Let's see.
Yeah, I'd say, well,
Go ahead, mate.
Well, no, we can talk about Jam Printing Promotions real quick while we're in some green flag running. Jam Printing Promotions, located in Plainfield, Indiana, is a certified veteran-owned company who have combined their passion for music and marketing to produce creative solutions in apparel, print, packaging, campaign creation, promotional products, and more. Since founding in 2013, they have partnered with more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on veteran, women, and children-centered organizations such as Goat Locker Racing, providing Goat Locker Racing with promotional items including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, and more. For all your promotional product needs, visit Jam Printing and Promotions. As we go back to the action here, still lap number 22 of 60. Pretty tame race so far. Just that one caution, Dean. But the drivers have had their hands full. It has not been easy to drive these cars so far tonight.
It looks like the second pack started to catch that first pack, as you'd mentioned. So that's working for them now. You called it. Junior there, Tyler. You called it, and so there it is. So they've started to form back up again. 58 machine Dougie still flirting with the fence a little bit there, but still keeping it under control. Good green flag racing. 39 to go. We're at 22 down. But we are going to see. There's Brandon making a run from the inside for the lead of this race.
Yeah, Brandon got Chance Taylor clear of Steve and Daryl Young Jr., but now it's backfired as Daryl Young Jr. goes with Chance Taylor when Brandon Evans went to the bottom. And look, Steve Tucker's going to follow suit. So Brandon really got left out to dry yet again. We've seen a couple times. Seems like the drivers don't want last year's champ and winner of 8 8 races to win the season opener here. They are not helping him or giving him any favors.
I was going to say, they're bullying the last season's champion, aren't they? Why not? Because he's always falling all the way back at the moment on the inside line. Nobody's going to down to support him out. There you go. Maybe get a little bit of a push from Bryson. Bryson's been giving a little bit of a push along the line to keep it. But yeah, they're leading him high and dry, and why not? Because as I said, you don't want to get him to go on a roll again, isn't it? Start winning races at the start of the season, because then he's gone at the end of it and lifts up that trophy. So it's up to the rest of the field there to do it. Chance Taylor up 17, number 14 leading, 24 out of 60.
Yeah, Chance Taylor, Dale Young, and Steve Tucker had a really solid kind of push there through most of the trial. I thought they may try and even break away from the pack, but now you see that inside line. That second pack is caught up. The inside line is going to form really solid here. Only 4 cars in that outside lane. Those 3 cars leading that outside lane are really helping. Obviously, Doug Ellingson is just trying to stay with the draft. His car's not handling as well as he would like it to, but it's seeming to find some grip here now, Dean. It's not moving around as much. He's a little bit more comfortable staying right behind Steve Tucker there. But now Bobby Germain's going to lead the inside line, that 42 Ben & Jerry's scheme.
Yes, it's just about to say what it was. It's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, you know you're a NASCAR driver, aren't you, with the name Bobby? It's just brilliant. It just works 2 and 2, hand in hand. So there you go, Bobby. And then, thank you out there, Ray. In Australia, we get nicknames for everybody, right? And we always call Doug Dougie in Australia. It's simple as that. So I'm calling Dougie. And so I'll have nicknames for these drivers throughout the season. Don't worry about it. Bobby's going to... I mean, you can't really nickname Bobby, can you? It's already got that one. What? You got Daryl, Chance and Steve at the moment, all working their way through there. Oh, a 39 machine there. That's Brandon. Get some sheer pace at the side draft of the wall there, but he's not thinking about going to the middle, is he? No, he's going to tuck him on the 14.
Brandon realizing it's a little too early for 3 wide. Daryl Young, Steve Tucker kind of left Chance Taylor out to dry. Brandon was going to try and go with Chance, but the speed difference caused him to just kind of hit the back of Chance and didn't generate any momentum whatsoever. He's going to dive back to the bottom in front of Bobby Germain now. Brandon does not want to sit in second. He wants to lead a lane. He wants to get to the front. He's being aggressive about it, but he's not making bad decisions yet. Yeah, I was saying
almost.
Bryson Myers looked to the middle here, but now you're going to see Steve Tucker's going to go to the inside of Daryl Young. That's going to be Chance Taylor below him, and he's going to cut back up in front of his buddy there. That's 71 machine Daryl Young, and that's going to bring the bottom line together. All this jostling for position brings the field closer. Brandon Evans giving a massive push to Chance Taylor. He'll lead that lap, make that lap 26 will go to Taylor in that 14 machine. But now Tucker getting the push on the outside with Daryl Young Jr. Really just 2 cars that were just locked up right now on the bottom. That's the 39 and 14 machine through 1 and 2. But man, we've seen pushes go off, back off. Oh. Brandon Evans 3 wide. It's 3 wide here. Brandon Evans is going to split the middle. Taylor is the monkey in the middle. He's going to fall through the field.
Herded through there. Wow. Poor Chance. Nobody even gave up there, gave him a little bit of a push in the middle to make it 3 wide. So we got left hung for dry, but that's okay. Plenty of time to go. I'm curious to know, ask you right around that, Tyler, because, 27 of 60. We know that the drivers like Brandon Evans there and Bobby and the likes of Patrick Trebek and Cody have all made their pit stops all the way back on lap 8. But now, my friend, when are the rest of the field going to look down there under green flag conditions perhaps for a pit stop?
I think the drivers who pit on lap 8 still have to make a pit stop. I don't think you can go 52, 53 laps in the next gen car at Daytona, especially with how aggressive these drivers have been, and onto the fact it's not a massive field. So the draft benefit you're getting for saving fuel is not as much as you would at a large field super speedway race. So I think everyone still has to pit. They are in the window now. They could pit anytime they want now. They may decide, hey, we're going to split in half. Lap 30, we're coming in. If you're, the driver you pit on lap 8, maybe you wait another 10 laps. Try a strategy. Try and work together. Find other drivers who pit on the same lap as you and try and, make up some time instead of racing in this path where you're going to lose a little bit of time as you're jostling for position, jostling back and forth like we've seen. So we're going to see how it all plays out here, but we are in the pit window. Pit stops can happen at any time. I don't know if it's going to be yet. Oh, 3 wide. Oh, squeeze.
Into the fence up there. That's Dougie getting a little bit of push up there, isn't it? 14, was it? Yeah, Chance Taylor and Doug going at it too for now there. Doug's all right. He's like, don't worry about that, mate. I've been in that fence a couple of times there. A little scrub, little hug, nothing like that. Bit of paint. Yeah, not a problem. Very, very close. between the two gladiators grueling themselves at the arena here of Daytona, and they both lived to see another day. As you said, we're halfway through this race right now. Green flag pit stops are painful, but they must be taken soon by some of the drivers.
Yeah, something to look for, especially this pit road. You're going, close to 200 miles an hour here, coming down these straightaways. Pit road speed. Oh, Tanner Bethea gets a bad shove from Brandon Evans there. And that's, I think, where we're going to see another wreck, Dean, where we saw the first wreck is off these corners, because that transition banking is such a big difference. The rear ends get light. If a driver hits you in the rear, you're going to go around. I think that's how the next wreck's going to happen, is how the first one happened. It just seems like it's very tense every single time we watch these drivers come off of two. But back to what you were saying, Dean.
Yeah.
Green flag pit stops, super important here. Do not speed.
No, yeah, we've seen that before, actually, even throughout the series this weekend. And then once again, here's Brennan giving a little bit of inside information. Here's a push from the 42, just background there. Bobby can't get it. Bobby's actually just go. There it is. That's that corner you talked about, isn't it? That's where it gets a little bit painful for the drivers. And I did see George is actually, it looks like somebody was going in pit road, but I did see a lot of spins and lockups going into pit road this week, actually, here on the NASRA network, because we had a couple of Daytona races. So, yep, you called it. You got your magic ball right there, Tyler. You can foresee everything.
It's a challenge, but and I say this just being genuine, having driven, these next gen cars, albeit not a lot. I mostly do most of my stuff truck or road racing. But these cars, especially, for some reason, exiting banking and then getting to pit road is somewhat of a challenge. Even though they have bigger brakes, they're more likely to lock up on these next-gen cars. So we see a lot of lockups, especially at Daytona and Talladega. You can be aggressive coming down pit road because of the bigger brakes in these next-gen cars, but you have to be careful. Maybe get a little bit of heat, kind of, just tease the brake a little bit. Just give it a couple of quick little taps before you make your way down pit road. Get a little heat in those brakes so you don't have that same chance of locking up. As we see, they were single file for all of about half a lap, team, in the top six, and now we're back to two wide racing.
Doug's jumped in by himself here, so that's very interesting. I was about to actually say, I did get your message out there. Is it Miss Jewel or Mrs. Jewel, whatever? George Jewel she's talking about is the 36 machine, so it's either a husband or a boyfriend or a brother or something like that, or a sibling, but either way, I'd presume with the surname that you have, you're either sisters or a...
Trouble! Brandon Evans around!
Yep.
More cars involved. That's one on the outside wall. We stay green. Lap 33 is 60 there. Brandon Evans got turned, it looked like, but saved it. But there was another driver who hit the wall on the outside. I couldn't tell. Nope, the caution is out.
Yeah, I think it was Mark. So this is it. This is a free pit stop for everybody. In fact, is that going to pan out for Doug? Because he just went in. He can come back out. This could be very interesting.
Down. This should be good for Doug. He shouldn't go a lap down. He already was on pit road before the caution came out.
Yep. He was just coming out of the pit road, I think, at the exact same time. Hey, it's all about being at the right place at the right time when it comes to motor racing. Let's have a look. So you did say it was Brandon that went off the track. Let's have a look and see if we can spot this one. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep, he's already sideways there. It looks like Bryson Myers got him spun around, and then it looks like
I think
that's
it was
the
Mark.
07 of Patrick Drabick, and then there's a black and red car. That's Alan Marshall, the 82. Those both hit the wall. The 07, the orange and white up there. Patrick Drabick and Alan Marshall, the 82, which is the black and orange, both hit the outside wall. Someone goes through the grass.
Yeah, Cody. I think they took a lot of avoiding actions, of course. So that's
Cody McElwain and Mark McCrary. But Brandon Evans gets turned kind of in front of the field, but very spaced out field was kind of a good luck thing for him. It doesn't look like he hit anything. Brandon Evans, that 39 machine.
No, I don't think so. I
think
he saved it. Yeah, exactly. But he's going to drop all the way back. Now, this will be interesting. Yeah, thank you very much there. That's your husband at the moment. Well, that's the 36 machine we're talking about. That's George. So, George Jewell is right up there. Here we are. Pit road. You knew it was going to happen. You have to, right, at this point. Got to take advantage of that.
Oh, yeah.
Caution.
These are the pit stops here. This will guarantee all the drivers have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. And what we'll do is we'll take this time to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back to bring you green flag action and the last 25 laps in this race. Back live at Daytona International Speedway, the Cruising Classic season opener, Go Locker Racing Next Gen Series here. And up front, Doug Ellingson. We thought he was kind of lone man by himself coming down pit road. He gets a lucky caution while down pit road. He inherits the lead. And guess what? Jake Ellingson is going to be with him here on the front row here. So Milwaukee, Wisconsin native in that 58 machine, and the other Milwaukee and Wisconsin native, obviously, in that 27 machine. They'll be the front row for this restart, as we will have 24 laps to go by the time we go green, 25 to go this time, as they're going to get them stacked up 2 by 2 by 2. Quick update on drivers involved in the last incident. Looks like Alan Marshall, 82, hit the outside wall. He's in 12th.
Brandon's
trying to
down
find the
here.
other drivers.
Brandon Evans, of course.
Yeah, Brandon Evans is way back in the field, outside the top 15. Patrick Drabick is in 15th exactly. So that's your update on those drivers involved. But drivers involved in that first incident, including Jamie Barkus, he's back in the 16th position, as well as Kyle Westby, who's in the 14th position, the two more heavily involved cars. First caution on lap number 8. That caution was on lap 32. But as we're about to go green, we're coming down the back straightaway. Dean, thoughts here? 24 to go. It's crunch time.
Yeah, you got the family, aren't you? The Ellingson family at the moment can look to defend themselves from Steve Tucker and the likes of Darrell Young Jr. there and Bryson Myers. Chance Taylor, of course, still hanging in there, 12 positions gained. But hey, perfect pit stop. You wouldn't have thought it, but Dougie timed it perfectly. As I said, maybe he read your crystal ball that you had up here in the casting box. But good on you. I'm pretty sure at the moment Ray's going to be very happy about that one. Let's see if they can bring it home, actually, because, 25 to go. They should have enough gasoline and tires to do it. But it depends, of course. Is everybody going to behave themselves, or we get another caution?
Yeah, they should be well good to go at this point, be able to handle a couple of green-white checkers. So I don't foresee any more pit stops unless you're involved in an incident the rest of the way here. So we have 24 laps to go. The season opener at Daytona. It's the one everybody wants to win. Everyone wants to win at Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing. Right now, the Ellingsons are in the catbird seat. Tucker and Darrell Jr. starting 3rd and 4th. Chance Taylor 5th. Those three drivers have been up front most of the race as well. Barney the flagman holding the green flag, waiting for the Geico restart zone. Doug Ellingson takes the green flag. We got 24 to go here at Daytona.
Let's see how they can handle the pressure from the rest of the field there, because Brandon D. Evans, of course, is all the way back down to P20, so no pressure there from our previous champion. For now, of course, you never say never when it comes to motor racing, that's for sure. The rest of the field are going to sort themselves out at the moment there. For that's your, as you mentioned out there, that's your husband. There it is, George. He's in P10 at the moment. Dropped a couple of positions, but he's got plenty of time to make it all up. It's all even Stevens when it comes to the field at the moment. Everybody has the right amount of tank of gas and the right amount of tires.
Yeah, call the field even, especially in the draft. The Ellingsons are going to lead the outside lane. They're going to get Tucker and it looks like Young to go with them. Bryson Myers, he's going to lead that charge on the bottom lane. He's going to have Cody McIllen behind him, as well as Bobby Germain. That's going to be a trio to look out for here on the inside. Inside right now has the numbers, but Tanner Bethea is going to back up to that outside lane, make it 5 on the outside, make it 6. Bobby Germain jumps to the outside now. They're going to start looking to move that inside lane further and further forward, but it looks like everyone's abandoning. Oh, that 14 there, that's Chance Taylor. He got really loose there for a little bit. Gathers it back up. We're going to look to remain under green, but now the field, you can see him bunching up there on the back straightaway.
And it looks like Steve Tucker wants to split the family members up at the moment and take the lead at the moment for the 24 on the inside there. So he does. Gets a nice big push from Daryl Young. So they drop both of Doug and his Jake there. Pushed them back a little bit, but there's plenty of time, plenty of motor racing to go. Good job there from Steve Tucker and Daryl. They're back out into the field there, keep on the eye out on the Ben & Jerry's machine on the inside. They're getting a push. And guess who's back in as well? Brandon Evans. He's slapped the through here. He's got the fastest lap actually right there. Back in P9.
Yeah, Brandon Evans already working his way through the field, but man, something I saw as soon as Daryl Young and Steve Tucker pulled up in front of Doug Ellingson, that car got super loose and he looked very uncomfortable handling that hot rod. Still, the Ellingsons are still together, but it looks like, nope, no more. Jake Ellingson says, bye-bye, I'm going to the bottom lane, leaving the family member of Doug to the outside. Doug is struggling in that 58 in the outside lane behind those two. Jake's going to take Bobby Germain, hopefully to the lead here. Doug's going to have Tanner Bethea to his behind as he's looking at Young and Tucker ahead. Young
all three abreast now.
A 3 wide. Evans split Bethea. Bethea looked to be in the fence there. He's going to come back down. You got to look at Chance Taylor there. Still 3 wide. It works out for Bethea. He only loses the spot. Brandon Evans moves up inside the top 5 for the time being. They're going to be side by side there for that 3rd position. That's the Ellingsons. Meanwhile, big run here. They're going to stack up on the outside. It's going to be really uncomfortable here off of 2.
This is when you can't keep a good champ down, can you? He just claws his way back through the field there, slicing through like butter. I can't believe it's not butter, and I can't believe it's not the 39 machine again running it. You can see at the moment, Dougie is not liking that fence too much there. He gets a little bit twirly while he gets up there. I'd like Dougie up in the inside lane there more than anything. I think he's a little bit more comfortable because he moves around a lot when he gets sucked into that bump draft. Here we go on the inside. Brandon says, I want to take the inside. You don't want it there, Dougie? Let me give you a shot for it.
Yeah, Brandon Evans just takes every move, every opportunity he can get, and he goes with it. And I, for one, respect it. As someone who doesn't, Tanner Bethea just proving the point. He's going to force the issue. Oh, Doug Ellingson around. He gets turned. Chance Taylor, Bobby Germain. Big wreck in front of the field.
And that was unfortunately about to happen at that point, and it has, and it's going to definitely call a collision for sure. So
yeah, caution flag is out. 20 to go here. We only lasted 5 laps. Tanner Bethea splits the gap. Chance Taylor's going to try and go with him. Chance Taylor just keeps coming up. That's on Taylor there. Just kind of drifted up, hit the 58. 58 gets pinched down, and unfortunately for Bobby Germain, nowhere for him to go. He's going to go for a wild ride. Really, Doug Ellingson goes for the worst ride. Massive hit there. I'm not sure who hit him, but they're going to have significant damage, and 2 more cars involved there just piling in at the end.
Patrick Drayback, it didn't look like Patrick got any damage on that one, but he selected to go down a pit road, so we'll go back to those live pitches.
Yeah, he'll have some slight damage on that left front, but Doug Ellingson's night will probably be over. That's some significant damage to the front of that 58 machine. Unfortunate end to his night. You know, he made a great call in hindsight, got super lucky with how that pit stop shook out, got to the lead. What about a lap or 2?
Yeah. What about pole sitter?
Brian Provo. Yeah, pole sitter Brian Provo also involved in that wreck. I saw he was that other car involved earlier on. Patrick Drayback as well, Ellingson, Bobby Germain, Chance Taylor, and more. So unfortunate for those drivers.
Ray, get out there and get that duct tape. Get out there. Get Dougie back out there immediately. All right, get that duct tape and get it fixed up. Never know what's going to happen. There's still 19 or so, give or take, laps to go. So, hey, I mean, if you're the likes, remember that after that green flag, we had Brandon started all the way essentially at the back of the field there, sliced his way back up. That man's currently in P3. So, a few more drivers coming down the pit road.
Yeah, and this is if they have an extra set of tires, they maybe feel more comfortable putting on some tires, or if they think they have any damage, they're coming down pit road at this time. But I want to talk about Brandon Evans and the moves he's making to put himself in this position. He is being hyper aggressive, but he's being smart about it at the same time. He kind of reminds me of Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in his super speedway days, taking every run you have, right? And that was always Junior's philosophy, is not, sitting in the back waiting around. Junior, for most of his career, at least for super speedways, he was all about taking every run. Just if it's there, go for it. Don't let things happen to you, make things happen for you. And it's worked so far for Brandon Evans. He's been able to drive back up through the field multiple times tonight after being involved in that incident, after starting back in the 10th position. So keep an eye out for that 39. I don't think he's done. That being said, there's clearly a pair working together. That's Steve Tucker and Darrell Young Jr., your 1 and 2 right now. They're working together, and they're working together well, and they've been able to prevent Brandon Evans from getting to the front.
Yeah, I've talked to Steve Tucker about that. What is that? That AFFAFFAGGGGGC information that's underneath his from the Boston, Massachusetts driver. He's just playing around with us at the moment, isn't he? But we'll see how he can pans out at the end of the day. You're right, but signs of true champions in any motorsports, really, across, and not just motorsports, but any sports, are the drivers that never give up, right? Never give up, and they never surrender. They give it everything they possibly can, because they go, hey, look, there's still laps on the board. If there's laps on the board, there's possibilities for me to win a race. And it's about keeping your head cool, calm, and collective, and getting the job done. And I always say that. And I've seen it before. I've seen drivers, unfortunately, just go, you know what? I'm at the back of the field now. That's it. It's over. I mean, that could have definitely... I've many leagues that I've casted before, when the likes of, just go back before that after that last caution. Like, I've seen drivers in Brandon's shoes, they just would have thrown it. They just said, no. And these are road courses, of course, too, sometimes. So a little different. But I always say, you planned on spending your whole time, right, for racing tonight here in the lovely Goat Locker Racing Series. So what else would you be doing anyway, right? Even if you don't finish in those crucial points there, or crucial positions, or even in the podium, you're still getting practice, and practice makes perfect.
Yeah, practice does make perfect, and I totally agree, Dean. Take every opportunity you can to get better and improve. Speaking of the Go Locker Racing Series, I want to talk about one more big sponsor and big supporter of the Go Locker Racing Series, and that's Red Beard Design. Based in Greenfield, Indiana, Red Beard Design Company is a veteran-owned and operated business that helps businesses create brand identities, illustrations, advertising, apparel, and more. The designer of Goat Locker Racing's brand since the beginning, anywhere you see Goat Locker Racing, you see a Red Beard Design. Call Red Beard Designs today in Greenfield, Indiana, and they will get you some amazing logos and sponsor branding. Go Locker Racing, a very iconic branding now, especially in the sim racing community, as well as NASRA and the NASRA 360 Racing Network. We're continuing to expand here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. We're bringing you the Crusin Classics Next Gen series. We're also bringing you the Veterans for Life Foundation Thursday night series from the Go Locker Racing series. Also, on top of that, we still have our 3 nights of NASRA action during the week. On Monday, the DSR Electric Truck Series. Tuesday, the SimRacerHub.com Xfinity Series. And Friday night, the Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series. Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series kicking off. Big season just started here. DSR Electric Truck Series making their push halfway through the regular season, moving towards the playoffs. But we're about to go green. Season opener, Crusin Classics, Next Gen Cup Series, Goat Locker Racing. Here we go. We're looking at just about 16 laps to go. Green flag is in the air. Steve Tucker leads the field of the green. Darrell Young is outside. They're going to work together immediately. Brandon Evans by himself on the bottom. No, Jake Ellingson goes with him.
Yep, bringing it, Steve Tucker, Brandon Evans now up at the P2, almost P1, 75. Jake's going to get it and give it a bit of a push there. As Ray had said, Jake won last night, so congratulations for the 27 machine. Because we have racing almost every single night of the week here at the NASRA 360 Network. In fact, we peaked at, 42 or something like that for the Cop Series as well, for the Concerns of Police Survivors. So make sure you tune in for that one come Friday night. It's motor racing all around the place. edit is, and of course, all thank you to those fantastic sponsors, of course, the drivers themselves who put on the show that brings us this fantastic entertainment. 16 laps to go here for our first opener season race here for the Goat Locker Racing Series.
Yeah, Goat Locker Racing Series, make it 15 to go. The Cruising Classics Next Gen Cup Series, they're looking for it's crunch time, time to move. Really, you still have an opportunity if you're outside the top 10 to get yourself inside the top 10 for a late race push. But when it's like 2 or 3 to go, Dean, you have to be inside those first 3 rows if you want a chance to win, or you have to hope that there's a wreck up front that takes out everyone else and you, Lightning McQueen, your way through it. Otherwise, you don't have a chance. Brandon Evans has done that the entire night. He's working with Jake Ellingson on the inside. On the outside, that's Steve Tucker, Dale Young Jr. They got Tanner Bethea, Cody McIlwain behind them. Behind them, you got Kyle Westby involved in the first wreck of the night, and Bryson Myers also involved in that first wreck. Right now, the field is this 2x2 organized we've seen since pace laps here tonight. These drivers are hungry. They know it's crunch time, Dean. 14 to go.
Yeah, you call it, Tyler. They know exactly. This is now when your friends and your allies on track have to now become an election, a debate whether or not you want to really help them. Once again, nobody's wanting to help out Brad on the inside line there. It's like, no, we're going to keep that defending champion back behind him. You see Steve Tucker and Daryl Young Jr., you mentioned that as well too. They are definitely working together here. Now it's going to come to shove there. Taylor on the outside there for the GoPro blue, lovely midnight blue machine. A little bit of a blinking light of pain when it comes to your telemetry information. Look at that, Branson tucking behind Chance Taylor at the moment. Here we go. 13, no, stay that. 10 to go, remembers when it's all out the window, all right? Push comes to shove. Yeah, you have no more friends anymore on track. It's about who wants to win.
Yeah, the jockeying for position continues. Kyle Westby now is going to lead the inside line. And I have to wonder, maybe there's an issue with Brandon Evans' machine. He's been spun around a few times through the grass. I have seen that cause damage to these cars before. He spent a little bit of time on pit road one time. That was longer than a normal pit stop. May prevent him from being able to lead a line, but can he push a line? We'll have to wait and see him and Kyle Westby working for it, but right now they're falling back, call it 5th and 7th. Right now, Tanner Bethea, Chance Taylor have gotten that outside line clear, so first 4 could jump down to the bottom if they want to, but right now, Steve Tucker, Dale Young Jr., they are linked up. Those 2 drivers have worked together perfectly all night long. They know what they're doing. They know how to control the race. They've had a couple of challenges, Dean, but they've handled them all pretty well so far.
They have, and but once again, like, who wants that? Because you can have allies, you can have teammates, even though they're not at this point. Like, you got to just, at this point, Daryl's going to be like, all right, I've been helping you along here for some time now, Steve. It's time for me to get it on, because remember, you have the likes of Tanner, so looking in the background there, Chance Taylor, of course, up 14 positions there, and even mention of this, Kyle himself here for the 91 machine, he's been lurking in the background too. So he's stepping up to the plate when you need to knock it out of the ballpark, because that's what it really, really matters. Of course, Brandon's pushing him around. Jake's dropped back into about P8 at the moment. Cody and Bobby, unfortunately, and Robert and so forth a little bit further back. As you said, they may be out of the clutches now of this potential first race win of the season, or at least podium of the season. But Steve Tucker, Daniel Young Jr., I'll get that one right. 24 and 71, still pushing each other to victory.
Yeah, right now, I think if you're the 71, you're willing to stay behind the 24 to about 2 laps left. And then you have to make a move, I think, in my opinion, especially with all these other drivers right behind you. You can't wait for them to make a move on you where you can't make a move because you're boxed in. So I think 2 laps to go, if you aren't going to push Steve Tucker to the win, is when you have to make your move, because I think you have to be leading here, in my opinion. I've seen so many wrecks happen where the guy in front, it gets off scot-free because the wreck happens between second and third,
traffic.
or third and fourth.
Lap traffic.
Yeah, lap traffic here. He's going to stay well clear. That's Doug Ellingson. He'll be all the way on the bottom.
Yeah, good on you, Doug. Still out there anyway with about half defender there. But there you go. Good on you. That could have definitely come in a big play, but Doug, so well clear of that one. Doesn't want to cause any mischief.
No, for sure. Great move by Doug Ellingson getting out of the way. But like I'm saying, with these drivers, if you're Daryl Young and you're serious about winning and not just pushing Steve Tucker to the win, you got to make your move 2 laps to go and, hope that there's chaos behind you. You can get lucky, obviously, if they wreck third and fourth on the last lap and you two are by yourselves. You can make the move whenever you want because the leader's a sitting duck, but that's assuming the rest of the field is out of the race. So I think if you don't want to pretty much box yourself into second, you got to make the move now. Or not now, with 2 to go. But we're at 9 laps to go. He's still got 7 laps. He can try and get that outside lane further and further ahead. But that opens up the opportunity for Tanner Bethea, Chance Taylor to dive bomb them entering a corner, try and cut, a little bit of length off this track and try and side track and separate those 2 leaders as Kyle Westby still leads that inside line.
He can't get any push from anybody, can he? Because he can see those 3 cars up the road there. He can also see another car about to be lapped soon. And hopefully that car does the exact same thing that Doug does. You want to get off there because these cars are coming thick and fast, a million miles an hour. They're not going to be very happy approaching this right now. In fact, if anything, it may help Kyle. It may help Kyle. He's going to go loosey-goosey up on that one. That's going to get very dangerous into the dying stages of this race. 3 abreast. There's murdered him. He's been left alone in the middle here currently. Poor Kyle. He's dropping potentially a P2 down in the midfield.
Yeah, Kyle, he got super loose on the exit, and Brandon could not stay hooked up, and Brandon kept his foot in it, and at this point, you're keeping your foot in it, and Brandon did exactly what he had to do, and unfortunately, Kyle got shuffled out of the field. But now the entire outside lane got clear, and now you're going to see driver Mark McCrary dive to the inside. He's going to bring some company with him. That's Robert Barber. We thought he was a little too far out of it just a few laps ago, D. Look at him. He's now inside the top 5. Chance Taylor. Now the inside lane has some momentum, and they have numbers. This is what they need with 7 to go.
Yeah, here we go. Roberto Barber. He's going to be a clean shave, perhaps, if he can get everything done here. Sorry about those little puns there, my friend, but it is all fun. Look at that. Look how close they are here this evening. They need to be even closer. He's going to get closer and closer and closer. Oh, there he goes. A little twirly point there. You got the clear point on the back there, making connection. So I can't even be hitting. Got a clear point right now. The 83 machine. He goes up on the fence there. There's Robert Barber. He's dropped back to P9 currently at the moment. Steve Tucker still getting pushed by Darrell into potentially once again pushing himself 6 laps away there for Barney.
Yeah, and you saw what happened there is they got misaligned going into the corner and they couldn't keep drafting, and that caused the outside line to just fly by that inside pair like they were sitting still. Now everyone inside looks like the top 10. Single file outside line, a little bit of a gap back to 11. So right now, Brandon Evans sitting in that 6th position, driver to keep your eye on. He's going to look to make aggressive moves, but no one wants to be the first one to make a move because you can shuffle that driver out. You have to find a couple of people willing to go together. Otherwise, you're going to fall to the back just like you saw Barber and McCrary do just a short minute ago. 5 laps to go. Now you got to start making lanes. You can't wait. We saw this last year in real life in the NASCAR duels. Everyone just rode around the top, and then with 2 to go, they thought they were going to be able to build enough momentum. These cars take a little bit longer to build up a strong bit of momentum, especially if you're coming from further back than 5th, Dean. If they want to make a movement, now you see Brandon Evans has dived to the bottom. He's got company this time. And it looks like he's got Jamie Barkas behind him, and Jamie Barkas is going to give him a big shove down the back straightaway.
He needs it. He needs it because now it's 5 laps to go. There's no more beating around the bush, as they say back in Australia. You got your auditions, well, your dress rehearsals all over. The main show is right here. This is the main stage, and this is your main chance to get it done at the moment. Chance, of course, is there as well. Chance Taylor on the outside. Steve Tucker and if Darrell work together, they could take this one. This is Brandon's last chance, but once again, they're trying to let the last year's season champion get any momentum into this one for the 39.
Yeah, I'm not seeing drive. Now I'm seeing something. The 71 has backed off pretty far off the 24. This is not going to be a great shove. He's not going to go with them. No. Yeah, he lifted pretty big, but Bryson Myers goes around off the nose of Brandon Evans. Will they throw the caution? That's a single car spin.
No.
So far, no caution on the Speedway. Bryson Myers just came down, tried to chop the nose of Brandon Evans. Did not work. We're going to see 3 to go here. That's 1 driver out of the fold. You're cutting it down now. The field's getting smaller. There's 11 now in the lead pack.
Now, I'm wondering at the moment if Darrell's going to make a move here because he's been pushing Steve all the way here. But then again, push comes to shove. Hey, all right, mate, I helped you out, okay? I picked you up a few times there. All right, now it's time for you to give me something back. And I always keep my eyes out there a little bit of Tanner because Tanner's lurking in the background. Wow, what a push from the 91. There's Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle's thinking about it right now. He's actually got Brandon to says, all right, all the time I want somebody to give me a bit of a push to up in the inside lane there. Will it work? Will it be enough? Stephen Tucker and Daryl are still helping each other out. Once again, I'm saying keep an eye on Tanner, because Tanner could do something on the inside there if he could. Jump up ahead if he's bold and brave there and try to tuck the inside line. 3 laps to go.
Brandon locked bumpers there with the 91 of Kyle Westby and gained a lot of ground, but they've lost a lot of it back here. Right now they're struggling. They're going to be in the 5th and 6th positions for the meanwhile. Now you're seeing that 71 back up in the middle of this corners, get a little bit of separation between him and Tucker. I think he's going to try and make the run off of 2, but now you see the 39, the 91 are linked up again. They're going to make a push, but then they're going to get separated and they're going to lose all their momentum again here, Dean.
Yeah, too late now. And maybe a day late, dollar short. That's definitely a day late, dollar short. 2 laps to go. That's going to have to be a miracle push if you're going to give it everything you possibly can. The inside line's just scrubbing too much speed there. They'll drop back quite a bit. You still have the 3 and 4 machines up in the high line. I don't know. I may be a little bit wrong on that one. Maybe they found some extra speed, extra momentum that you need at the moment. They're almost taking Tanner on the inside line there. So, the 20, what about you said about Daryl? Daryl's thinking about something here at the moment. He's actually in trouble. Daryl's in trouble. I don't think he can go anywhere. He has to dive down the inside line if he wants. Otherwise, Steve Tucker's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, the top 3 were nose to tail. They're locked up. Tanner Bethea's all over the back bumper of Daryl Young down the back straight. When they get separated, now the run's got to come from somewhere else. Daryl Young to the back bumper of Steve Tucker. He's going to try and lock bumpers, push them both clear, and make a move on his own at this point. There's no other options. They're wrecking off in the back. The back of the field's wrecking. The looks up forward, though. Daryl Young Jr. is going to push the 24 of Steve Tucker to the opening win at Daytona. Daryl Young will finish 2nd. 3rd goes to Tanner Bethea. Chance Taylor 4th. Mark McCrary 5th. But Steve Tucker gets the help of the 71, who stayed with him all the way pretty much till the bitter end. And Steve Tucker, the man from Boston, Massachusetts, in that Toyota, will win here tonight. The Cruising Classic season opener in the Next Gen Series. Just a crazy last 3 laps of kind of too much patience, I think, Dean.
Yeah.
Drivers were waiting too late to make the move, and then the wreck happened in a way that it kind of killed everyone else's momentum off the back straightaway 3 and 4, and there was nothing left there.
I was just wondering if they were waiting. It's kind of like you're sitting back waiting, and then you realize, you look at your stopwatch and you go, oh dear, I think I've waited a little bit too long for something to happen. I don't know. Steve Tucker and Daryl, hopefully we're going to hear from them in the interviews. Are going to be interesting to see whether or not how they work together. Did Daryl want to win this race, or was he happy to push Steve Tucker across it? I'm going to watch Steve Tucker do some fantastic burnouts for that harpoon design. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? I think he's stuck. He's beached it. Oh, here's to back up a little bit. I was about to say, mate. There's a bit of an elevation angle, of course, in Daytona, and there it is, my friend. You got the job done. We'll get those results up on the screen pretty much right now for you there, champ.
Yeah, Steve Tucker wins your season opener of the Cruising Classics Next Gen Series at Daytona International Speedway. Daryl Young Jr. finishes 2nd, about 0.05 of a second behind. Tanner Bethea 3rd, Chance Taylor 4th, Mark McCrary 5th. Cody McIlwain, not a lot, or didn't hear a lot from him tonight, but he'll finish 6th in that 6 machine. Kyle Westby involved in your first wreck of the night on lap number 8. He'll finish 7th in the 91 machine. Jake Ellingson, saw him up front for a little bit with his family member Doug Ellingson. He'll finish 8th. Brandon Evans just could not get it done. He was involved in that last lap wreck. He'll finish 9th. Same with Jamie Barkas, who's involved in the first and the last wreck of the night. But he'll round out your top 10. Alan Marshall, Bobby Germain, George Jewell, Chris Sawyer, Bryson Myers, your top 15, and then the rest of the field finishing 1 lap down or greater. That's Robert Barber, John Anthony, Doug Ellingson, who finished 4 laps down, Patrick Drabick, had it right the first time, 11 laps down, Brian Provo, who'll finish 19 laps down, and Scott Formosa, rounding out your field, 51 laps down, involved in that first wreck of the night.
Yep, short commercial break, and then we'll be back to grab some of those drivers by the scruff of the neck there and explain how it felt to be on the podium for the first race of the season. Don't go anywhere.
And I move my way down to the virtual victory lane with Steve Tucker, your winner here at Daytona, that 24 machine. Steve, we saw you hold off the field for the last 20 plus laps with Daryl Young at your side. First, what does it mean to win the season opener, especially at a place like Daytona International Speedway? And second, are you and Daryl Young teammates?
Yeah, man. Daryl and I are teammates for the Harpoon Design team. And man, I'll tell you what, I'm just trying to catch my breath real quick because I mean Daytona, it's always intense, right? Super speedway racing and just everything that goes on here. So just a lot of fun. I mean, last season we won the season opener too at Kansas, so it's just it's poetic justice. So yeah, him and our teammates I ran last season, and really enjoyed everyone here at Goat Locker, and decided to bring him along if he was willing, and he was. And I mean, him and I have done all kinds of races together, and just super speedways and are typically our specialty. And we're like, what? Let's just see what happens. We both qualified like crap, and I mean that pit stop when the yellow came out, we kind of just said, like a friendly, joke, right? Like, hey, I mean, whoever beats off, after the pit stop, I mean, we'll just push them and see what happens. And I mean, I got out in front of him, so we just we said, what, whatever, and we went off with it. And just kind of did our thing and kind of made it our playground today. So a lot of fun, and man, just an awesome run today. So happy.
Yeah, Steve. I mean, you mentioned, what it is to win the season opener, done it before, obviously, but also at Daytona, especially when you have a teammate who's so committed to your success like Daryl and you were tonight, making sure the Harpoon Designs team gets to victory lane. Just an absolute display of dominance. So you were able to hold off challenges from drivers like Brandon Evans, other drivers like Tanner Bethea, Chance Taylor. What was it like kind of communicating, making sure that you guys made sure you were going to stick together and work together and prevent those runs from happening behind you?
It's tough. I mean, the outside lane here, in particular, is actually pretty deadly. It works out well if you have a good pusher. Daryl's definitely a better pusher than I am. I'm a better leader, so I guess it kind of worked out that way. But it's tough. I mean, the low line can get some runs, but I mean, if you saw, I mean, we kind of did like a side draft to kind of went down a lane and kind of blocked their run, and it worked. So I mean, it's just one of those things that takes practice, and we've done this long enough and on these super speedway races where we kind of just know all the ins and outs. So it's just a trick of the trade, I guess, but it's teamwork definitely does matter.
I'll bring in my co-host Dean here. Dean, you have any questions for our race winner?
Good job there, mate. Good job. Yeah, obviously you and Daryl worked together brilliantly. But one thing I have to mention, of course, because our graphic shows up at the screen that says AF, AAF, FFFF, AAG, and the other things. So we'll sort that out there, Steve Tuck. It doesn't look too good, but then again, I think we're not really focused too much on the details underneath your car. What the driver is doing behind the car is the key, isn't it? GG's. Well done.
Yeah, there might have been some shenanigans when we put in our information, but yeah, I promise you, it's well, you know what? I don't know. I'll just let it be a mystery. But big shout out to my team, just Brentley over at Harpoon Design. I'll tell you what, if you need a paint scheme for any kind of oval car, I'll say typically NASCAR style, paint schemes, go check them out, harpoondesign.com. And Brentley will get a hold of you, fill out a form, and I'll tell you what. I mean, if you wouldn't look at as good as me, this car looks good, man. And Daryl as well, my teammate. Go and check them out, get a form filled out, and get a paint scheme, man. Harpoon Design.
Yeah, I was going to mention, I love the 24 Harpoon Design Toyota Camry you have going on. I'm a big fan of the vibrant colors, and you stole the thunder from me. I was going to ask if you have anyone to thank, but floor is open if you have any additional sponsors, family, friends you'd like to thank here tonight before we send you on your way to celebrate your win.
Yeah, I mean, here tonight, definitely want to, shout out, I mean, Brantley again, and Daryl, again, teammate, Brantley, team owner and owner of Harpoon Design. So big shout out to them. And just again, I mean, yeah, I mean, my paint scheme looks nice and good on track under the lights of Daytona. And we're in P1, man. So if you want a P1 caliber paint scheme, go and check out harpoondesign.com.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks even better in victory lane. Steve Tucker, congrats again on your win. Wishing you the best throughout the season. And hey, yeah, playoff run opportunity here for you now here as we go throughout the rest of the season. You can kind of just go out and chase more race wins throughout. But again, huge congrats from us here in the NASDAQ 360 Racing Network booth, and hope you have a great rest of your evening as we're going to start moving on, talking with the rest of our top 3. And that's going to be first the teammate, and that's going to be Mr. Daryl Young standing by. Now, Daryl.
Daryl, you got a copy?
I got a copy.
There we go. Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead there, Tyler. Tyler, have we lost you? Tyler. Is my dingo attacking Tyler again? I tried to kick him out of the broadcast booth. Oh, we lost Tyler there for a second. Tyler, are you back?
Sorry about the technical difficulty.
Go ahead. My dingo, right? You're snapping at your ankles again?
Yeah, that happens from time to time. Daryl, I just want to say, you teammate, we just spoke with your teammates who won the race, Steve Tucker. You seem to be the best pusher out there. What does it mean for you to, one, to get your team in victory lane, and two, to have a performance like you two did where you dominated most of this race?
Yeah, our plan was just to work together. We love to see that, and Daytona. It's great to work together at Daytona here tonight, and we work well. We wanted to control that outside. We weren't going to let anybody go around us on the outside. We worked together, and we kind of wanted to see some green flag pit stops, but a caution came out, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, he came out of the pits in front of me, and I told him, "Don't leave my bumper, and you're going to victory lane." And well, it worked out.
Yeah, Daryl, you mentioned, you guys working together as teammates, but I want to kind of go back to a couple of the instances we saw. We saw a lot of, issues with drivers handling their cars, especially coming off of turn 2. Was there something especially about the car setup tonight where the rear end was super light that just caused any contact coming off that corner, getting cars spun around?
Yeah, at Daytona, you have to be really careful coming out of the corner. Talladega, you can push all the way around the corner and you don't have to let off when you hit the backstretch or come to the tri-oval. But at Daytona, you just kind of want to let off just a little bit, wait till right at the end of the corner, and then start pushing again. So that's what we did, and it worked out for us pretty well.
Co-host and producer Dean, any questions for Daryl? And now I've lost the producer.
No,
Daryl,
you're fine.
Oh, no.
Go ahead. No, you're all right, good.
I would say, Daryl, well, before we let you go tonight, give you a chance to thank any sponsors, anyone who makes it happen for you, friends, family who support you.
Yeah, shout out to Steve for winning, teammate. Our paints, Harpoon Design, Brantley did a great job on these paints. My opinion, best looking cars on the track, but I'm a little biased there. But yeah, and just shout out to you guys for the broadcast and to the league, and it was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for your time, Daryl. We look forward to
One
seeing
last
what you do
question.
next week.
I have one
never
last
mind.
question. Sorry.
Producer's just killing me.
Yep. Sorry, one last question. You're all aware that Brandon Evans, right, was obviously the last season's champion, that he had some serious pace. He was slicing his way through the field there. But he got left dry on the inside line. Nobody really was giving too much of a push there to Brandon Evans. You mentioned it. I think the key was you are holding the high line, right? You were not allowing anybody to go up around that fence. Do you think that's the key to success this evening for you and Steve?
Yeah, that's absolutely the key to success here tonight at Daytona. It's the high line is always key at Daytona. If you want to go low to pass somebody, you have to make sure you clear them and get back up to the top as fast as possible. That's just the way it is. And we were doing a good job saving temps. We saw the low line coming, and as soon as they started coming, I'd push harder and had temps that lasted a little longer, and it just worked out for us here tonight.
Well, again, Daryl, we thank you for your insight, on how the track was handling, and also just spending some time talking with us this evening. Wish you the best of luck next week at Las Vegas. Before we move back to the East Coast for Darlington Raceway, how do you like your chances, though, heading to the West Coast?
West Coast sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. And yeah, West Coast will be a lot of fun.
Well, we appreciate you spending the time with us tonight. We'll let you go. But again, congrats on your second place finish. That was your second place finisher, everyone, Daryl Young Jr. coming home second for Harpoon Designs, getting his teammate Steve Tucker the win.
Thank you, guys.
And we have last but not least, of course, Tyler, to bring in this man. Are you there, Tyler? I think we might have some problems with Tyler at the moment there. But until we get Tyler back there, Tanner. Well, the number one machine, my friend, and you are hovering around that P3 position quite a bit there. I'm not quite sure if you were Steve Tucker and Daryl working together big time. Any opportunities you thought you could possibly do it here for the GoPro number one machine towards the end of that race?
I wasn't really expecting where I finished. I kind of messed up there on the last lap, but just try to stick with them two guys. I knew what they knew what they were doing, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just stuck with them and started pushing, and we came along together.
Yeah, Tanner, I would say finally back here in the National 360 Racing broadcast booth. We saw it kind of like the three of you all get hooked up on the back straightaway on the last lap. You were right on the back bumper of Daryl Young Jr. And it seemed to kind of get you all very far clear of all the chaos that would happen behind you. Was that just kind of something you were looking to do, or was it kind of just, last lap, don't lift mentality at that point?
It wasn't really that. It was just I wanted the top three finish, and I knew they didn't want to get past from the inside lane, so I figured it was up to me. And if I didn't want to get past by the inside lane, I push harder, and it kind of just worked out like that.
Well, Tanner, I mean, I have to say, you, Chance Taylor, Daryl Young Jr., Steve Tucker up front all night. Brandon Evans obviously went to the front, to the back to the front. You said you didn't really know what you're doing. It seemed to me like you knew what you were doing here tonight. Looking forward to next week, though. We get away from Super Speedway Racing. We're going to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. How do you feel approaching that track versus the drafting track of Daytona?
I like non-drafting tracks. I mean, there's still a little bit of draft going on, but I like those tracks because it's more of a driver track, and you got to know what you're doing about tires and all kind of other stuff. So I find those tracks a little more fun and challenging.
Uh, Tanner, you sound like my kind of driver. I'm glad we're moving on to the intermediates and the driver tracks shortly upcoming, especially with Las Vegas followed by Darlington. I do want to say, Tanner, before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank, sponsors or teammates or teams that make this happen for you?
I would like to thank my parents, my grandparents for all supporting me. I'd like to thank Goat Locker for letting me come out here and run, and just all y'all for putting on this broadcast. It's really good, and that's pretty much it.
Well, we thank you for taking the time talking with us tonight, Tanner. Again, congratulations on your third place finish, and wishing you the best of luck next week at Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your third place finisher, Tanner Bethea. As we now go down to our little post-race recap, Bean, it was an interesting race. Had a lot of different things, a lot of moving parts, a couple cautions. Wasn't a wreck fest though. A lot of respectful driving throughout. What are your thoughts, and what are you looking forward to next week at Las Vegas?
I mean, I'm loving it actually for the Cruising Classics. It's good because the fact that I need a couple of cautions. You called it a start because of a smaller grid. 21 drivers, 21 gladiators that battled their way around the arena. And we had many people up and down leading races, and all the way at the back of the field there, he had so many drivers, didn't you? I mean, you even forgot about Brian that finished in P20, and he was our pole setter. So it goes to show you, at the end of the day, isn't it, that even if you put it on pole, doesn't mean you're going to win that. Patrick Draback, of course, another, and Dougie was up there with that perfect pit stop, and of course got involved in that incident as well. And of course, Brandon D. Evans fighting his way through the field over and over again, and couldn't quite get it done at the end of the day. Good. I have to pick it to Steve Tucker and Daryl Young Jr. working together brilliantly. Good on you to Tanner as well too, because hovering around just in the background, just getting it done, getting the podium, getting the points that you need makes a big difference. Because come at the end of the season, I'll show you, of course, that calendar. I mean, we're only on round 1, my friend, but you get down to before you get into the championship hopes there of Phoenix and so forth. That is when those P3s do click up all the points that you need at the end of the day. And then we may be saying Tanners are battling it out there for the racing championship. So you never know. You've got to be in it to win it. So
Yeah, and we look at that schedule, like you mentioned, Dean, starting off the season right at Daytona, but there's really only one super speedway race left on the schedule. That's Atlanta on February 28th. Otherwise, it is a very, very diverse schedule. We're going to go road course racing. We're going to go short track racing.
Yes.
We're going to go some fast but shallow bank tracks such as Indianapolis. And then we're going to finish it all off at Phoenix Raceway. So it's the beginning of a great season here in the Cruising Classics Next Gen Series, brought to you by Goat Locker Racing, presented by Nazareth 360 Racing Network. It's been a blast. First race in the books. Again, huge congratulations to Harpoon Designs, that 24 of Steve's, getting that win tonight. Great way to start the season for them. A 1-2 finish. Steve Tucker getting it done. Darrell Young Jr. I'm excited. I'm excited, Dean, for the rest of this season. I'm excited to get to Las Vegas next week, and I'm excited to continue throughout the year here as we continue our relationship with Goat Locker Racing on Nazareth 360 Racing Network. That's it for us tonight on the broadcast. I'm Tyler Dittmer, producer and co-host Dean Biggles, getting it done with us tonight. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. And we look forward to seeing you next week, same time as we take on the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway